everybody, this is Everything is Fine, Nothing is Ruined. I am your host, Tristan. With me today, as always, is Hassan.
That's me.
That's you. Hassan, we are here to discuss some very important matters. Extremely important.
Okay.
We are here to discuss the death of the hot dog eating contest. Where'd it go?
Huh. You
You
joke.
don't hear about it anymore. Yeah.
I feel like there was that peak of what's it, Joey Chestnut?
Joey Chestnut. Yeah.
I haven't heard his name in a couple of years now, so I think you're right. They're dying.
I heard it kind of recently, but only passing, right? You don't hear about the hot dog eating contest anymore. And that's sad.
Huh.
That was a peak part of Americana that we're all missing out on now. I mean, not being from America doesn't matter to me that much, but still, just saying.
There's some good news, kind of along those lines, though. I assume you've probably heard about Uma Musume, the horse girl racing anime game, etc.
Son, stop right there. Yes, of course I have. I watch VTubers.
So Indonesia's horse racing derby this year surpassed 300,000 live stream views. Last year was only 85,000. So, hey, it seems like horse racing is having a boon.
Horses is back on the menu, if you will.
Well, I mean, not literally. I assume the people into Uma Musume don't want to eat horse meat, but yeah,
Oh, well, fair enough. To the glue factory with them then, if they lose.
Oh no.
Yeah. Gotta take that anime girl with the horse ears and grind her hooves up into glue.
No, they don't even have hooves.
No, I know.
They're not even real horse girls.
I know. Musume is a strange thing. I haven't. There are bundles and oodles of video games out there with strange the gacha game style game where it is a waifu collector, and there are a lot of them out there, and I've seen a lot from them, and none of them freak me out as much as Uma Musume. I don't know why. Definitely
yeah. I don't know. It's a weird one.
There's something about the fact that they are horses that kind of just. I'm like, I'm gonna steer clear of this.
Also, they're mostly high school girls, I think.
Yeah, I mean, yes, that makes sure.
Say what you will about the MiHoYo games, your Genshin, your Honkai Star Rail, your Zenless Zone Zero. At least they're mostly adults.
Yeah, mostly 18. Well, not always 18.
And
at least,
even the underage kids, they don't sexualize those ones. So
yeah, at least
a little less creepy.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. The thing is, I don't find Uma Musume all that sexy. I'm clearly not the right audience for it because I know people are horny as fuck for this game, and I can't understand it. I really can't. I don't get it in the slightest.
Yeah, and I also think horses are dumb, so just all around I'm the wrong person.
But Hassan, we ride them, and they enjoy it.
Look,
they are a noble creature.
When the Rohirrim charged to save Minas Tirith, that was cool, but horses are really stupid.
Yeah, they're not. Well, okay, they're not. They're not the smartest animal. This is true, but they're not totally dumb.
I'm sorry. When I say stupid, it's they're physically stupid. There's just so many ways that those things can. They can do a thing, I forget what it's called, but they'll chew on something and then they'll suck in too much air while they'll do it, and their lungs will overinflate, and they can just die because then their lungs are overinflated. You're like, what? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
There's just a million things like that with them where you're like, wow, these things are
I will say that's a very rare occurrence. Most horses will not do that. I've grown up with horses, and yeah,
Don't know.
never heard of that happening. I have heard that thing happening, but like I've heard of that.
Well, if you play more Uma Musume, maybe you'll learn more about it.
I hope that's the thing that can happen. Just it's like a
Oh God,
it's like a 1% chance that one of your horse girls just sucks in too much air and dies. So you boot your game up and like fucking Hitomi is dead or whatever the fuck.
they're actually named after real horses, so they're
are they?
way dumber, at least yeah, their names are like Golden Pavilion. You're like, that's not what a human would be. What are you doing?
No, not quite. Oh, what was the one I was thinking of? Fuck, it's the there's a song about him. He drank wine. There's a famous racehorse that drank wine. Karen were here, she'd tell me.
All right, look, while you search that,
I will.
Tristan, what we're actually here to talk about.
Wine drinking
so I want
horses,
to talk
I
about
agree.
the. Well, I kind of do, but
Yeah.
Basically, I recently replayed Mass Effect, and while playing it, kind of dawned on me that the current both media landscape and sort of like fan landscape are really not conductive to what I'm referring to as living worlds. And basically, to define that and really get into it. So to me, a living world is one where it's a world where it feels like the author or authors have purposefully made this world to feel like it is a living, breathing world where they have seriously thought out how a lot of the groups, and so whether that is, say, a sci-fi or a fantasy where we are talking about kind of like different races, or whether it's, it can be sort of a smaller world or sort of like a singular race of people, a la something like Avatar: The Last Airbender. But I would say, living worlds, they tend to be a little bit more politically inclined in that sense, where, okay, the authors are really going to sit here and think, okay, how did these two groups interact? But that also, I think it's a world where, to me, that's a world where, yeah, like they're going to be full of politics but also like the politics that exist are not solely designed to tell sort of the, whether it's an individual, whether it's group, whether it's multiple viewpoints. It's not specifically these politics are to tell that person's story. So if I take Mass Effect as the example, the humans and the Turians at one point were at war with one another. And that creates a certain tension and sort of, I wouldn't say conflict between the two. That's mostly resolved, but sort of a simmering under the surface, disdain for each other sometimes. But that's never pertinent to Shepard in the sense of if that conflict was completely taken out, that relationship, that strain was removed, nothing really changes about the Mass Effect story, about Shepard. And so I think living worlds, they tend to be full of those things. So examples of more living worlds in Mass Effect, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Star Trek, the list could go on and on like that. Whereas what I would call sort of non-living worlds, those tend to be worlds where a lot of the way the world works, the politics, the way that sort of nations are written, they are done that way solely to be able to tell the story of the characters the individuals were following. So thinking about recently I went to see the Superman movie, and that involves a conflict between the nations of Boravia and Jarhampur. And that's one where that doesn't feel like a living world because that conflict, those nations are written solely to be able to tell this Superman story. And comics in general, or the big superhero ones from DC and Marvel, I think in general,
Yeah.
are not written to be living worlds, and there's other reasons for that. But I think like Harry Potter is another example of that, where
Yeah.
a lot of the way that world is written, the second you start to look at it from a different angle or kind of poke at some stuff, it all just falls in on itself because it's only written that way to specifically progress something in Harry's story.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, and so that's kind of the difference between the two. And so getting into why I think just the current landscape we are in, that these living worlds just do not work as well. Number one, I think almost regardless of the media format that we are in, it now just takes too long for these things. So if we think about video games like Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 3, if I'm remembering my dates correctly, 1 came out in 2008, 3 came out in 2013. That is only a 5-year gap between games.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
That is so incredibly uncommon and rare in games these days that you could put out even just the gap between 2 games to be 5 years is short, let alone we're going to put out a trilogy of games in only
like 5 or
3 years.
Yeah, exactly. The the mastery of that is long since gone, because I think that games being more expensive and requiring larger teams and all this stuff, I think that those video games especially, current video games especially, require longer development cycles, obviously. And so something like a Mass Effect trilogy couldn't really be made in this day and age in the way it is. You probably could, but like not in that Triple H studio mentality.
Yeah, and it's not just games, right? It's TV as well, where there are some shows that still tend to come out with sort of, let's call it, reasonable gaps. But like I'm not a fan of it, but like Stranger Things is one where I thought that show had already finished. I was not aware that there was a 5th season coming. Now, I'll admit I dropped off after season 2. But
good choice.
The thing is that, okay, so looking at it, the first season came out in 2016.
Yep.
The 5th season is only coming out in 2025.
Yes.
That's basically 1 season every 2 years. Now, the earlier seasons did come out a little bit faster. But season 4, that ended in 2022. Yep. It is over a 3-year gap between seasons. And so I think stuff like that, it really just takes the wind out of the idea of this living world, because if you're only getting to experience that world after these big gaps, it's a lot harder to have, going back to the earlier example, stuff like the human-Turian conflict, because it's kind of hard to write these, for lack of a better term, but irrelevant facts of this world.
Sure, yeah.
If a person's only being reminded of it once every, 3+ years, it's sort of, oh, right, yeah, I forgot that there was this thing, and that's why these groups dislike each other. The other thing I would say is, especially on the TV side, just the amount of content coming out. It makes it
a lot of shit coming out.
Well, I actually think it's the reverse, where on the...
really?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, there's a lot of TV coming out, but as individuals. So taking Star Trek as an example, I like Star Trek Strange New Worlds, but those seasons are something like only 10, I think 10 episodes a season, maybe 12. It's not a large number. And so when you only have 10 episodes a season compared to the original Star Trek, compared to, I mean, basically every other Star Trek series before it,
etc. Yeah.
Deep Space Nine, all those, you can really dig into something like, with, say, the Deep Space Nine example, you can really delve into the Bajoran-Cardassian conflict, how,
sure.
Different viewpoints on it, different sort of moments in it, because you have the time and the ability to go back and sort of explore elements of a part of this world. Right. Whereas when you have 10 episodes, it's like, well, if you had something like the Bajoran-Cardassian conflict, you could kind of only have one episode where you really talk about that, and maybe there's like 2 or 3 other episodes where you name drop it. But otherwise, you go, well, no, we have to focus on wider things, other story points. Oh, this one, we got to talk about the Ferengi, so we can't bring up the Cardassian and the Bajorans. We got to talk about the Ferengi because this is our only chance to go in on this. And if we try and have other plot points, it just sucks. And so for TV, I think that's another problem, is when you have these interesting worlds you really want to sink your teeth into, and you only get 10 episodes a year.
Not possible.
Okay, well, it's kind of hard to actually delve into that world and give me a big experience.
Yeah, I found that so there's a show that came out on Netflix called Inside Out, and it is trying to build itself as sort of a
cartoon, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's building itself as sort of like a adult Gravity Falls, roughly. More about like conspiracy makers.
This time, Dipper Pines fucks.
Dipper Pines will never fuck. He's too much of a wiener. Anyway.
No, don't. The Manitors taught us that's not true, Tristan.
The Manitors fuck, and they know he can't. The Manitors are all Liver King. It's a whole thing. I know. Anyway, that'll look like it too. No, so Inside Out came out, and that show was broken up into 2 seasons, each one that's like 10-ish episodes, if not less.
2 seasons, wink, wink.
Yeah, exactly. And after season 1, there's no watching season 2. It's not. It doesn't have anything to grip onto, even though it has things to grip onto, but because like they don't spend any time with anything, there's no like little B plots to jump onto. They have to really focus on what they want to do because they have to tell the tightest fucking like story possible in 10 episodes. Otherwise, they've failed their job and they won't get renewed for season 2. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They will, technically, because they've already bought them. But, like, the way shit works now, where we are not sticking around for more than 10 episodes, 10 to 12 episodes typically, it just means we don't really have anything to build on. So people who are trying to create these shows, they'll try and like world build and do all these things to make it a living world if they can, and it will still fail because of the format of it can only be 10 episodes a season because reasons? I don't really understand why we're on that. Like, it used to be you'd order like 20 episodes plus because that's makes up a whole fucking season. And like, yeah, I guess TV costs more now. It doesn't have to. It just means that you put $1 million into each episode. Or, well, that's actually not true. It's more than $1 million each episode. But like, you put, let's say you used to put in $500,000 per episode back in the day, and now it's like $3 million per episode. And it's just like, well, you could just not put as much money into an episode and have more episodes so you can write more and world build more, and that way people will actually latch onto your show and want to come back for season 2 instead of just watching it in the background. Like, you'll actually build a fan base which will actually want to jump onto multiple seasons. Like, I don't know anybody who's really excited. Well, actually, no, I do know one person who's excited for Stranger Things season 5. But like, I don't care.
I'm same. I don't know many people who are still into it.
Yeah, like I used to be. It was the biggest. It's the biggest thing Netflix has is Stranger Things, and I couldn't give two shits. Like seasons 1 and 2, pretty good. Season 3, yeah, sure, all right. 4, look, 4 was rock solid, but like I just after 4 and they go like, there's a 5th one coming out. I'm like, I don't care. One of those episodes was 2.5 hours long. One episode was a movie length. Why?
Yeah, so you were saying about not knowing people care about Stranger Things and the gap, and how that hurt in Inside Job.
Inside Job, yes.
Okay, I was about to say Inside Out. I was like,
yeah.
Wait, no, that's the Disney thing, Pixar. I forget.
Disney thing, yes, or is it Pixar? It's the same shit. Who cares?
Who
gives a crap?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, another thing I think, not just the media landscape that's a problem, but I also think something that I've noticed, it seems like it's more of a problem now than in the past, is, and in some ways I kind of think it's like Wiki's fault and such, but, or actually, I think it's actually probably like MCU's fault in a lot of ways, but there's this idea of like, sorry, not even MCU, just comics, I think, are a great example of this, which is you create a world and then basically the way that certain things are made in that world. So whether it is, this race, it could be Klingons, it could be elves, it could be, demons, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That, this group is a certain way. Klingons, they always have to be basically, a version of like Viking warriors, and it's like, they can never not be that, even though, eventually this, as things progress, this world should change, things should evolve. It's like, no. They always have to be that way. And like, that doesn't work. And, if we think about our world, right?
Yeah.
The Danish, the Icelandic people, the like Scandinavians in general, they're not still a bunch of Vikings, roving the land and just the only way that they survive is by pillaging other like, they've clearly progressed past that. Their culture isn't that anymore.
No, exactly.
But in a lot of fictional media, once you write a group like that, it's like, no, that's how they always are. You can't have that group evolve and change and move past that. Or, if, the elves are in conflict against the dwarves.
Right.
Well, that's just how it always has. The elves and the dwarves can never not be. They can't be allies. They can't stop being in conflict with one another. That's how this world is written. And that's something that I've noticed, that just in general, people seem a lot less or not even it's that people seem less, it's that people seem actively disdainful when a piece of media alters how a world is and updates something so that a certain group or a certain faction, race, whatever it is, if they all of a sudden change and go from being like the bad guys to the good guys, people don't like that. Phineas and Ferb, they have just done a new season of it. I haven't watched it, but I saw people talking about it. And one of the things is Doofenshmirtz, at the end of the last season, which was like 10 years ago, I think, basically said, I'm going to stop being a bad guy. And then they did a movie, they did some sort of a spin-off, and in all those things, he's a good guy. Season 5 of this comes out, it's like, no, he's back to being a bad guy. Because it's like, well, yeah, of course he is.
Do they explain that?
They basically explain it as the movie and the spin-off are sort of non-canon to the new season, and he just relapsed.
No.
I mean, it's kind of funny, so...
No, but Phineas and Ferb has always been the show to be like, okay, we have some convoluted explanation as to why this is happening, and that's where the comedy comes from. Phineas and Ferb is one of the funniest shows.
Nope.
I'm assuming it's not the same creators. I'm pretty sure the original creator...
It is. Is it? Yeah, it's the two guys, whatever their names were again.
I thought they said they never wanted to do any more of that ever again.
And something, and I think the other guy goes by the name Swampy.
Yeah, that's them.
It's yes, those two are they're in charge of it.
Right.
People actually seem to like it.
$signs,
but like
sure.
That's kind of an example of something like that where I think Star Wars is another example. People want Star Wars to be a living world, but the problem is that it always has to revert back to Jedis are the good guys, Sith are the bad guys. They have to fight each other. Like the fact that the entire sequels just basically went, what if stormtroopers came back? You're like, well, that's weird. Shouldn't this world move past it? Again, if we think about our world, stormtroopers, clearly inspired by not Nazis, like that is a fact. They're or I think was it Nazis or World War One? I mean, it's an amalgamation of wars, right?
It is. Yeah,
War is
stormtroopers,
there, etc.
The phrase, the term stormtrooper is from World War One. But it is a World War II concept that they're cribbing from Star Wars.
Yeah. But if we think about that where, okay, it took that inspiration in our world, not to say, like, the Nazis disappeared, but things evolved, right? Like, we're not today seeing the swastika and the... Iron Eagle.
Yeah.
We're not
the two lightning bolts. Yes.
Yeah, this symbol. We're not just literally reusing it. We evolve. We move past that.
Yeah.
In negative ways. Sorry, in like negative ways that those groups, fascists and negative groups like that. That no, they gain different symbols and they shifted how they kind of acted and the things they said and the way that they try to like draw people in. I mean, you made reference to Liver King, but guys like Andrew Tate and that, like the ways that negative aspect of things that adapted. And it just seems like media in general now is afraid to do that too, because using Star Wars as an example, it's like, well, hey, selling Stormtrooper, merch, real valuable to Disney at this point. Obviously, Disney doesn't want the Stormtrooper look to ever go away because that's the IP.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing now, and why these worlds, the IP holders don't want to radically change them. They don't want to dramatically shift things and alter it because, well, that's a lot harder. If we built up an iconic look or whatever it is, we can sell that. We can do it. If I think about, God, I mean, it's got to be like 15 years ago now or something. But what World of Warcraft did with, oh man, what was that? It was like Burning Crusade, I think was the name of the expansion, where the idea was literally, I think it's a dragon basically scorches this world. And so all of these regions are going to look different. I think some characters might have died. I don't know. I don't play WoW, but that's something where the only other time that's really happened in a video game was Final Fantasy XIV. And they did that because they needed to basically relaunch that game. And it was having issues. But at this point, like a big video game like that, I play Genshin, but I think about other games like a Destiny or like similar storied games. I know Fortnite did a big similar thing. No one actually cares about Fortnite's story or anything like that. But these story games.
There you go.
I think there's a story. I know characters have stories at least.
Sure.
The few that are probably still there that aren't just, IPs.
IP slop.
Yeah. But most of these, they're not going to be willing to go like, oh, you know what? Yeah, we have completely altered this world, and now, Destiny, yeah, this group of, the Fallen, I think that's an enemy type or something. Destiny's never going to go, hey, the Fallen are defeated, and they just left. Halo is never going to go, the Flood are just gone. Just that enemy type, we no longer have them. We've moved on to something else. I mean, they kind of tried that with 4 or whatever, and then they basically
the fourth one they replaced with robots. So yeah.
Hey, it's the enemies that right? And that just it feels like that's the media landscape we're in, is whether it's games, whether it's TV, movies, etc. Because everything now is an IP and marketable and merchandisable. You can't kill off Optimus Prime, right? No. Optimus Prime just always has to be there. Megatron always has to be there. They're the IP. And that's kind of just like another element of this, where it has created a landscape that trying to build a living world, which part of living world is things grow, other things die, we expand in this direction, Sure. It becomes hard when, it always has to come back to the IP. It always has to come back to trying to sell and market the iconic parts of it. I would also say, specifically with like live games, just because we, brought up Genshin, WoW. Those have the problem of, even though we call them living games sometimes, games as a service, etc. Those games, they don't want to ever like end the central conflict and elements of driving it, right? Like if Destiny ever went, all the bad guys have been defeated.
Yeah.
Peace now exists to Earth and the Guardian.
There is a story that ends Destiny 2. In the original.
I'm aware, and then Paul McCartney shows up and plays a 6. Actually, I think it's Destiny 1.
Destiny 1, yeah. Oh. So basically, it's after that ending, it gets retconned through all the DLC that's over Destiny 2 to say, hey, yep, that ending is one ending of 25 in this game. Don't worry about it. You beat the game, the base game. Well, here's where the real game begins. That was tutorial.
Hell yeah.
And they're not saying that in a cool way. We're like, oh, now the real game fucking begins because you unlock the secrets of this game. No, because you paid money for the more of the game, and that's where the actual game begins now for them because you pay more money for it. Especially now that Destiny 2 is free to play. So yeah.
Yeah, but it's not just Destiny. Like, WoW
did it too,
can
yeah.
never go. The Alliance and the Horde. I know one side's called the Horde. I think one side's called the Alliance.
You got it correct. Yes, the Alliance.
It can never go. They signed a peace treaty. They're no more fighting because even if it did that, it would still have to go. Okay, we'll immediately figure out some way that they're gonna fight each other.
Yeah,
which is not like using the real world. It's not like, say, when World War II ended and the globe was at peace, no more conflict.
Yay!
There were definitely, there were wars
still conflicts,
not technically part of World War II,
yep.
but that started during World War II and continued past it. And so, this idea of, well, there's always got to be a conflict, that's not wholly wrong, but the way that live games are, it's like, well, no, we can't stray too far from our central conflict.
Yeah.
To
Otherwise, they can't give us more money. Obviously.
Yeah, to continue that train of thought, it's like, well, World War II can never permanently end. It has to keep going. Otherwise, how would we sell our game?
Yeah, thanks, War Thunder.
Let's say, I assume that's basically the plot of War Thunder is just what if World War II had kept going?
I mean, they have modern planes and shit, so yes. Realistically. Technically.
Put Mecha Hitler in War Thunder.
Yes. Technically, it's what if World War I didn't end, because it spans the entirety of aviation history. And I guess now...
does that mean I can fly the Kitty Hawk?
I think you can, actually, if I recall.
Okay.
Yeah, you can definitely fly a biplane, like a really shitty paper biplane.
Right.
That is an option in that game. No guns, but you can fly it.
Some B-2 bomber.
You has no guns.
Yeah, that's a problem.
It is definitely a problem. You can crash into it. You can crash your Kitty Hawk into a B-2 bomber.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But that game spans aerial, naval, and land-based combat across eons at this point, so yeah.
To use our promo code.
Sunday will be sponsored by War Thunder. Like right now. No.
Yeah. Now, I do want to talk about one area where
Sure.
I actually think a lot of the issues we've had and the things we've said are like not, at least as a media form, it actually does a pretty good job of pushing back against that. And there are a couple, right? I think books in general, if you're not George R. R. Martin,
what is this
there's no
book
issues
you speak of?
Okay, so you know how sometimes when you look at a computer screen, there are words?
Yes.
Okay, now imagine if instead of a computer screen, it was on paper.
So moving images, but on paper?
Yes.
Oh. Can I get...
You see, in the 1500s,
Yeah.
the Gutenberg press...
We don't...
We
Can I get my anime ladies on paper?
Yeah,
we're
gonna get... Don't worry, we're gonna get there, buddy.
Yeah.
But I think, books in general, you can get those out a lot faster.
Sure.
They tend to cater to a more, I wouldn't say like media savvy audience, because I think media literacy is across the board on mediums, but I think that books in general as a format, because so much of it is part of your imagination, lend themselves a little bit more to being willing to do stuff like, well, killing off certain characters or changing the way that a world works. Comics outside of, DC and Marvel, I think, can also allow that a lot more, that they are worlds where changing things up and being willing to let go of certain tent poles and really challenge things works very well, because I mean, at this point, comics sells to a pretty small audience.
Very niche.
Like even for Marvel and DC, that they sell to a much smaller audience than games, movies, television.
Yep.
And then you go outside of that and you're talking, not the big superhero, it's a niche audience, and I think niche audiences are going to be really receptive. But where I think there is one very big audience, and a lot of what makes a living world work is still allowed, is actually anime. I think as a medium, it's much more, even though it's still very like IP focused and based, and sometimes they're not willing to move past. I think Dragon Ball is a pretty good Dragon Ball, it is a good example, because you go from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z, dramatically different things, different tone. Dragon Ball was way more comedic. Dragon Ball Z, much heavier tone. Much more sort of
proper shonen thing.
Much more shonen. Then you went to GT, that didn't work, and so Super, I mean, it kind of goes almost back to like original Dragon Ball in some way, with more comedy, but it really is just kind of more Z. It stopped really, even though the story kind of changes the world writing wise, it doesn't feel like it. So I think that's one example where it does kind of get stuck in certain tent poles, and like, it always has to focus around Goku, right? They tried to make Gohan the main character, and then they realized, no, forget that. It's always got to be Goku. But
it's like, we have a new kid. He can grow up as well and become, sure. No, not really.
But like One Piece, that thing's been going for 20 years, and that's one where there have been dramatic changes. That's a world. It is willing to shake up things, is willing to kill off beloved characters and just alter the state of this world. I think Bleach, another example of that in these big shonen ones. But then I also think something like Delicious Dungeon, where that feels like something, it built this great living world, and it just, like, it was willing to put that out there and kind of just have it end and be self-contained. It didn't have to then delve into a million other things and undo some of the things it did. It's, who knows, 5-10 years from now, maybe there will be Delicious Dungeon 2. Oh no, turns out there was another bad guy and he remade the dungeon and loused his party. They gotta all go back in and fix it all again.
The mushroom they ate in the first episode? It's that guy.
All right. That would be very funny, and I would be okay with that.
He's very dead.
If it was just like, no, it turns out that mushroom was basically godlike, but it gave up a lot of its powers, but when it killed it, it got them back. It was like, well, I just really like that dungeon, so I'd be okay with that. That would be very funny.
They're pretty funny.
But, I think there are... Berserk's another one that always felt like a world where it's kind of willing to go like, no, these two groups fought, this group won, like, conflict over, like, no, they crushed, not necessarily say like a nation, but like, they crushed this sort of clan, this tribe, whatever. That conflict's just over. Like, obviously these two groups still dislike each other, but we're moving past that now because that's how that works in real life, right? Like, no, this clan, this group got crushed. They can't just turn around and try and fight this conflict again. Like, they lost their people. That's another one. I don't care for it. Attack on Titan, I think, is one that obviously willing to do some crazy things in its world and shake things up. So in general, I think, as weird as it is, Uma Musume aside, anime is great for living worlds. It is great for actually being, and anime still puts out content. God damn it! Like, the one medium that goes, hey, actually, 26 episode seasons are they're good. You make more money that way than a 6 episode season. Yes, you do.
Yes, I also like that with the anime. I don't know how they do it, but even if I only get a 10 to 12 episode season, I still feel like that's a good season. As opposed to most things that come out that are not that anime, that are 10 to 12 episodes and like 45-minute long episodes, it sucks otherwise.
I would say the difference there is that because anime still does, I don't know what the split looks like, but to me at least, it feels like most shows are 26 episode seasons still. That if a show is only going to do a 12 episode season, it's because that makes sense for it. It's not, whoever it is, a Netflix, a Disney, a Warner Bros, whatever, that, that's just their directive. Like, no, you can only do 12 episodes. And it's like, well, we really feel like, we would benefit from stretching this story out over more stuff and having more chances to explore. So I think that's why, is that as a medium, because they are willing to do 26 episode seasons and there's not this stupid streaming system directive that says, no, do it this way.
Unless you're like Dan, which is stuck on Netflix and that's hitting the 12 episode limit. Great. Yeah.
Well, that's because they're just worried that you would overdose on Turbo Granny.
I would. It's true. I would grind Turbo Granny up and smoke her like crack. Would. I
don't think you can do that.
She's a doll. I could do it.
It's true. I don't know.
She's made of porcelain, man.
Hashtag Team Aliens. Only an idiot's going to believe in ghosts and the supernatural.
Whatever, man. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to go to a haunted tunnel. I'm going to go to a place where there's reportedly alien sightings.
Yes.
And we're going to investigate those places and tell each other how wrong each one of us is.
Tristan?
Yes.
I've never wanted to make out with you more.
I've always wanted to make out with you as well.
Dan's good. Now, to wrap things up, so current landscape, I think, sucks.
Yeah.
Looking forward, some of the issues, I don't think those are going to go away, right? The IP-ification of everything, the needing to market it, needing to sell it. I don't see that going away anytime soon.
I agree with that.
The issues with fans not accepting things, yada yada, I think that's kind of a result of at this point, decades of IP-ification of things. I think going all the way back to probably somewheres around like the 50s, 60s, when I think about things like, Scooby-Doo as this ever-present figure, Superman as this ever-present figure, Star Wars has been around since the 70s, right?
Yeah.
That's led to a lot of why people look at these things as being somewhat immutable. But I do think some of these older things, they're going to start hitting the public domain. And I think that is going to cause a shift in people's perception around a lot of this stuff where, as the likes of Superman and James Bond and I think there are some other, like Mickey Mouse, Winnie the Pooh, these big figures people have known, and because of that IPification, that marketability, it's, well, this is how Winnie the Pooh has always looked. That as those things hit the public domain and actually know, you get to see other people do their interpretations on it in legal ways that allow them to get big. I think that's going to undo some of that, and audiences will kind of go back to being more receptive to the idea of like, yeah, just shake things up. Like, do weird things with a character. Yeah. Drop a character in a story and introduce somebody new instead of, you know, just always being the Skywalkers kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's one where that's going to help. I do think that the slow pace of media coming out, so whether it's games, whether it's television, movie, that is going to correct itself too. I don't know when, but I truly do not believe that the current way a lot of media is being made and how long it's being taken, I think that's going to course correct. For AAA games, maybe that means that they realize they don't need 1,000 mechanics in them, so them out faster, smaller maps. For television shows, again, maybe they realize, hey, what if we just planned them a little bit better, stopped relying so much on CG, not every show has to be an HBO blockbuster, and instead sometimes we can have things that are a little bit more grounded and come out sooner, faster.
Yeah.
So looking to the future, I do think living worlds will work again, that something like a Star Trek will go back to, hey, what if we had less big dramatic stories? And sometimes it's like, yeah, 90% of this episode is just people in the same half dozen rooms you've seen them in before.
Yeah.
Having just well-written dialogue.
Exactly, yeah. That's Seinfeld, that's Friends, etc. Sitcoms of the yesteryear, basically.
I believe The Office is still one of the most streamed shows every year on Netflix. Oh, I wonder why. Maybe it's because it has a lot of episodes and it's rewatchable, has enjoyable dialogue.
You just look at
instead of relying on big action.
Look at your dramas as well. Like the biggest one of the biggest dramas of all time, Lost, is set in the exact same jungle all the time, and most of the sets are right there. Like they don't change a whole lot, but they do what they do with what they got. It's it's a show that they don't need to pump a lot of money into it.
Well, it's crazy because at the time that was a very expensive show.
Yes.
Man, that show would be dirt cheap. Like what? Like I think it was like Game of Thrones, where it's like, each episode would cost like $10 million, and now there are shows that just blow past that. Like,
easy.
That Secret Wars. It's like that was a 6-episode thing, and it was like each episode cost something like $60 million or $40 million. I think.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How? What are we doing? That's stupid.
That's so stupid.
But I do think that stuff's going to get course corrected, and studios are going to realize, like, hey, you know what? What if instead of $240 million, you spent $120 million and gave us 20 episodes?
Yeah, exactly.
Figure it out. It turns out we make way more money that way. Weird.
Yep. I know.
So the future, I have high hopes. I don't know how long any of that will take. I don't even want to take a guess, but I do firmly believe that the climate we are in is temporary, and eventually things will be better.
Yeah, I agree with that. I basically agree that media needs to, like, when they're using their IP, they need to take more time with it, kind of like free it up in a sense, because they need to push past this notion that they need like just a really tight thing and keep this stranglehold on everything. And there's a sense that, like, I find a lot of the media that we are ingesting these days is constricting like very constricting, and it's like
I believe corporate image is the words you're looking for.
Yeah, sure. That's basically it. Where they're trying to make sure it all falls in line with the thing that they want to represent. And meanwhile, that's not good for the thing that they're trying to push. Like a show that feels corporate will feel corporate from day one, and it won't change that. And people don't like that. They don't want to show, like, they will watch that in the background of whatever they're doing, like while they're cooking or cleaning or whatever. But for people to actually latch on and keep watching seasons of a show that aren't just reality show slop, they will want to actually have more than just 10 episodes. They will want a proper living world where, like, things happen. It's not just the A plot going all the way through. Even if you have your B and C plots, they don't need to connect. You know, it's okay to have a B plot kind of like go off into the distance for a little bit. Maybe gets picked back up by the A plot at one point or intersects it. That's fine. But, like, it doesn't have to. But
looking at you, Grogu.
Exactly.
They should have dropped you, but nope, had to bring it back.
I know. I don't know why. But yeah, essentially what I'm saying is studios need to use their IP freely. And that's where we're going to end the episode for today. So anything else you want to say before sign us off?
Go gamble on horse girls. Anyways, Tristan, tell people where to find us.
Find us on Blue's House at EIFNAR. I was going to make another horse girl joke, and it was very tasteless. Very tasteless. And I'm like, I thought about it for a second, and I didn't do it. Anyway, also find us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, where you're watching this right now. Like, subscribe, etc. Do all those things to make your life more fulfilling. If you click the like button, just rapidly. I would just do it rapidly, so it's unlike, just like as many times as you want to. And just really see what YouTube does with that. I'm curious.
Now I'm actually kind of curious. What does that do with their algorithm?
I don't know. It messes something up, I bet. Like do it 100 times in a row, just to see what happens.
I used to get 10,000.
Oh, okay, even better. Yeah. Just jamming that mouse button or tap the screen or whatever you're doing. Probably tapping the screen. Tap the screen multiple times. I think if you do that, that might actually, depending on your device, it might zoom your screen in and out. It depends what you're doing. Anyway, you should also tell your friends about our show. Word of mouth goes a long way, especially in our free IP, freely worlds. Go to our friends at DJDane.com. That's going to do some music. DJDane.com. Listen to his great tunes. And if you wouldn't mind just stretching him out to 20 episodes.
Like his life, or just literally stretch him physically?
Whatever you got.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Every year of his life should feel like 20. Oof. That's rough. I think it's a curse.
That's a curse.
That's a curse. Yeah. I feel bad about that one. I think I just cursed him. Anyway, that's it for our show. Tune in next time for another enigmatic episode of Everything's Fine is Ruined. See ya.
See ya.